Hey, how's it going? Good. Yes. Yeah, when you go home, send me your IP address. And once I get that added, so in databases in Microsoft Azure are highly secure. So yeah, I've got to add IP addresses for you to access it. But yeah, just drop me a Slack message. How's it going, Luke? Come on. Okay. Oh, where is the... Yo, how's everybody doing?
Doing good. Is this working?
Doing well.
Good. Yep, I could hear you.
Okay.
I'm going to try something a little different. Not gonna lie, I'm not a huge fan of how StreamYard does screen sharing. It's a bit wonky. Like, I have a Mac, and you can do multiple desktops, and it totally won't let me share. So that's why I was having trouble last time. What's that? Yeah, they sent me access to the member internet, which is supposed to be better, but I've tried 3 different logins now, and they keep sending another one. It doesn't work. All right. I am just going to try. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first class, very high level introduction. What'd you guys think? Anybody want to rip their hair out? Because it's going to get worse. It's going to get a lot worse. So today, we're not going to have homework. Next Monday will be a quiz going over class 1 and class 2. Totally open book, because that's what we do, right? Like nobody's going to ask you to sit down and write a SQL script on a piece of notebook paper from memory. But today we're going to pretty much the entire class, we're going to work through some more complex SQL queries on the fly. And then at the end of it, I'm going to drop a .csv file into Slack and then show you how to import into your own database using Azure Data Studio. And then next week, I'll show you how to do it like using SQL to be able to copy things from different databases. But it gets a little bit complicated with kind of security and permissions that I've got to set in the Azure cloud computing environment. So, but any chance I can to show you how to do it the easy way, I'm going to show you how to do it the easy way. I was going to review the answers from the homework last week, but I haven't got all the assignments turned in yet. So I'm going to hold off on that one. Okay. So we're going to look at, common clauses, functions, aggregations, logical statement, operators. I even have some like script that's going to produce an error. And then we can explain, the reasoning behind that, how to resolve it. So you had very basic queries with the US zips data set. I need to change that. We're not using MySQL. I've been actually updating this on the fly. The last class was in MySQL. I'm converting it because businesses don't use that. They use your standard SQL and, like, for example, limit the number of records. That's not going to work in standard SQL. So, for example, MySQL query limit 10 is what you'd use at the bottom, whereas a standard SQL query, you're going to do select top 10, top 50, top 100 records to get back. And there's a whole bunch of other syntax differences. That's not the only one. So I want to prepare you guys properly. So when you're actually working on this stuff, you're going to go, what did James teach us? Why is this not working? Okay, so these are the most common SQL clauses. Your from, your where, your group bys, having. I don't typically use that. Selects your column, order by. That's going to be ascending or descending. Joins. To me, joins can be some of the more complicated things that you'll do, especially when you get to big data. Because you'll run into like a lot of unexpected issues, and that's where like handling distinct values and duplications come in, and then you've got to learn how to test that. So I've spent a lot of my time working with financial data, so I don't have the luxury of being like 90% accurate. I've got to be 99.999 until the accountants say it's immaterial. So let's say you did some sort of join and now you've just said that the company made $500,000 more than it did. It can, yeah, that's one of the bigger nuisances that you'll have to deal with. So that's where you're selecting things where continents equal Asia, and then where continent equals Asia, and different areas, or, you know, I think in US zips, there's like, you want to do counties in Nebraska and that sort of thing. And then I'm going to show you how to use case statements so you can nest like different logical like if, then, else in a case statement, and do multiple selections. Select distinct as you see the case statement, aggregations, count, sum, min, max, average. I don't tend to do aggregations like that in SQL very often, mostly because you could do those in like if you're going to use Tableau or like Power BI, like I would do those in DAX. I tend to do as minimal amount of that type of work because it's more beneficial for you to have, like, let's say if we're working with like all the charges at a hospital, you want to have the charges in Power BI and then do your calculations later. Otherwise, you're going to be doing endless and endless, you know, separate data tables for reporting. Sometimes it's necessary if you've got so much data that a calculation needs to happen, then, and you're experiencing like lag issues on your dashboards. But we're a ways away from that. So let me drop a file into Slack here. Okay. Rather than you needing to type it as you follow along, I've put the SQL scripts in there so you can just copy and paste them. Okay, so this is going to be an interactive class. So what I want you to do on this is obtain a list of countries within the continent of Asia. So if you download the SQL file I loaded into Slack, you should be able to open that in Azure Data Studio. What's that? Yeah, yeah. It's in the group Slack chat. I'm going to try. Okay, I can't do it from here. Okay, so your output should be something like this. Can you see the people online, can you see my Azure Data Studio screen?
Yep. Yeah, I can.
Okay, perfect. Okay, is everybody able to produce that? Still trying to load it?
So I just opened up my Azure and it's like basically nothing.
Yeah, do we go to like a new file or a new notebook?
Yeah, do a new query, but you said you opened the file and nothing came up.
Yeah, it's like set up a new connection or whatever. Let me see. Yeah, it's just like new open file, open folder.
When you tried to open the SQL file?
Does it say that you're disconnected? Because I had to click a couple things to reconnect, and it all came back to me.
Yeah, you gotta click on the server and then reconnect to it. If you've got to keep logging in, click remember my password. What's that? Yep. Oh, sorry. No. So you're going to want to pull the first query into a new query. I just put them all in there for you to be able to copy paste. And we do that because you can't run selections within SQL. You've got to run the entire query. So it should look like this once you get it open. Give me how are we doing in here? Anybody else able to open that, or is it coming up blank? Okay. Thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Okay. Alec, how you doing? You're on mute.
I'm typing everything in by hand from the first one to connect.
Gotcha. Yep. And then just click remember password.
Says create a new firewall rule.
Okay. All right. So SQL operators. This is going to be like, logical and, so continents, Asia and North America. You can do things like I want populations, in counties that's greater than 1,000 or towns that are less than 1,000 people. If you want to find small towns, add or subtract. You could say that I want to sum the populations, in Lincoln and in Omaha, and to see the two combined. Again, I don't do a lot of arithmetic in SQL. Save it for later, but the other two are pretty common. So a lot of the deck today is I think a pretty helpful like cheat sheet that you can reference back that has different functions. Comparison functions. I don't do a lot of coalesce. Is null. I will use that quite a bit because errors can arise from that. And then null values will be read differently. Like if you were going to pull this data into Python, Python's going to call it like NaN, and sometimes it'll like, if you don't handle it correctly, it'll store it as a text. Like then if you're going to pull it into Tableau or Power BI, and then you try to do a calculation and then it errors out. So there's ways that you can treat those. Like you can just make it blank. Sometimes you want to be able to identify null values, especially if, like, let's say you have like a whole bunch of customers, and there's like a data entry process to capture information about them, and then maybe whoever your front desk person is, like they're not doing it, they're not collecting their driver's license info, and you're like, hey, what the heck, right? Like okay, so with this one, what I want you to do is I want you to run this query up here, the one that has an error, to produce that error message. Which, let me just copy this for you. Where was I at? Okay. Where is... I put it in the Slack if you want to copy paste. Okay, so you should get
An error message that says incorrect syntax near the word schema.
yeah, that's not the one I wanted. Give me a sec here. Yeah, so the that's the MySQL bug. The pound sign is how they do your annotation in there. I removed all that. Try this one. I just sent over in Slack. So you should get something that says arithmetic overflow error converting expression to data type integer. So what we had to change it to is we're going to cast. So what casting does is you can change that data type of whatever variable or column that we're working with. And so we're changing it to a big integer for it to be able to process. Yeah, there's small integer, irregular integer, big integer. Then you got floats, which are decimals. How's everybody online? Anybody falling behind here? We good?
Oh yeah, I still can't log in.
What's it doing?
It's saying I have to create a new firewall rule, and then yeah, I'm like literally on the where it says like new file, open file.
Did
Open
your IP
folder.
address change? Because I know the other day you mentioned you were at your parents'.
Oh, send me your IP address. Yeah, it looks like you're in a different room, Alec, or a different location.
Okay, that might be it.
Yep, drop it into Slack. I'll get that added for you real quick. Okay. All right, you should be good to go. Okay, so example of a control flow function. We're going to use multiple logical statements in here. So again, we've population, big numbers. So we're going to cast this as a big integer. And then where continent is Asia, Africa, Europe, Oceania. And then in the Eastern Hemisphere, right, continent 7 equals America, then Western. And as hemisphere. So this is the output that you should get with this. So let's do. So this is why I'm encouraging all of you to use ChatGPT, but do it this way. So annotate each line of script with what it's doing. Okay. Okay, so really important thing to do, especially now, and then even when you get really experienced and you're just working very quickly, documentation is something that most developers neglect. And then you've got let's say you've got a script that's automated, it's been running for a year, something breaks, you got to go back in there and it's kind of a head scratcher, right? Like, oh, what is this thing doing? So what I would do is, and this is a great way to do it, like, why type it out yourself? Just put it in there, have ChatGPT tell you what it's doing, and then while you're learning, to me, this is, I don't know, I feel like this is a more effective way to learn by doing than going to like some of those resources that were in the last deck. I mean, they're not bad for additional practice. But if you're actively working on projects every day that are meaningful to you, or find one at work, this is a great way to do it. Well, oh shoot, you couldn't see my screen, huh? I always forget about that. All right, hold on. Sorry, guys. Okay, you see my screen, my data studio? People online? I think they froze. Marcus, you can see it? So this is what I'm talking about. Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about, annotating code. So what I did is I took the original script, I put it into ChatGPT, and just said, annotate each line of what this is doing. But it's really important that with any script that you write, when you're working on something, that you annotate it. And even as you move forward in the course and you're getting into Python as well. And as you're working with data, it's not a bad idea as well to explain even the business logic behind it, or what's the actual operational logic behind what you're doing. I'm getting rid of records with null values because I've identified that they're just this particular field is, if it's null, it's basically meaning it's a test like record that somebody put in or something like that. Or something I see a lot in my experience with electronic health record systems is that, like, if a patient doesn't have insurance, the system will leave it blank. And so then I'm recording it as self-pay and explaining like the system treats people that don't have insurance as null values. Okay, so Scalar value function, this is working with dates. And, the date formatting can look a little funky. It's pretty common that you see it in reverse, year, month, and day. So feel free to plug that in and take a look at the output. Hold on. I do not like this screen switching. Okay, so this is the query that, and you should have it in that SQL file. Are you able to do it, Christelle? The SQL file? What's it doing? Okay. Give me 1 second. Oh yeah, so close it all. Yep, so let's quit that. And then let's try that again. Accept. Yeah. This is the third time you're doing this? Budget. Okay, let's try this. There you go. Yeah, I don't know why when you double click the file, it was doing all that nonsense. That's strange. Okay. Okay, so I know that was a lot of functions I threw at you. Do you have any questions with any of those? Anybody online? You guys freeze. Patrick, can you hear me? Okay. Got some additional resources. Here is your SQL cheat sheet. That's got your list of operators, basic syntax, functions. The what now? Oh, I'm gonna just put it in the Slack for everybody. Yep.
Real quick, if you go back
Yep.
on the cheat sheet, I'm curious. Under arithmetic, it said modulo. Is that for the percent sign?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm recycling this from the last course, so I don't know what modulo. I don't know what that means. I've not something I'm familiar with, but yeah, good catch. What is that? Oh, yeah, I guess that's what it's called. Modulo is the B is the divisor. So that can be for dividing a number. So like A percentage B equals R, but it's called modulo. Okay. Okay, so I am loading a .csv, a comma separated value file into Slack, and then we are going to go over how to import this using the it's an extension you can add to Azure Data Studio called SQL Server Import, and using the import wizard. Step one is let's make sure everybody can connect to their own database that I've created for you, where you're going to have the rights to be able to manipulate it. So I've got the instruction details right here. Yeah. No. No, and I'm going to send you the deck. I've also uploaded the connection details into Slack because I'm going to do my annoying screen share flip again. Okay, so let's go to connections. All of you should have your own database here. And hopefully these things load. But if not, when you go to the database portion, it's the first initial of your first name in caps, then your last name, and DB. Patrick, were you able to log in?
I'm confused on where you're finding that. Because I just have the student read-only database that pops up on mine.
In the drop-down list, that's the only one that pops up?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to, you're going to add a new connection.
Okay.
And then enter the connection details that I just put into the Slack chat. And once you get to what you'll change that's different is the username is going to be the first initial and then last name. The password is different. I've added that in the Slack chat. Click remember password. Your database is first initial, last name, capital DB.
Did you say to do anything after that, or we're just waiting for everyone to log in?
Okay.
Sorry, we're having this thing keeps freezing on my end. Did somebody ask a question?
Yeah, so are we waiting for everyone to log in, or did we have anything to do after that?
Yeah, no, you're going to have something to do here. I'm just waiting for everybody to log in.
I keep getting it just like a fail note. So I'm trying to go through and figure out what I did wrong, or
What's it say?
just when I hit connect, it says login failed for user Ethan.
Okay, let me give it a shot.
And I know you've said it a few times. The username, it's just first initial, last name. There's no DB to this one, right? DB comes for database then at the end.
Yeah. Yep. Correct. Did you do capital M, capital E?
Yep. Then I have that for the database as well.
Okay. So I just tried it and it worked.
How did you spell my last name? Is it AN? Do you have it as AN or EN?
AN.
Oh, okay.
Did I
It's
spell
actually
that wrong?
EN, but that's all good. I'll just change it then.
Okay, sorry about that.
No worries. All right, I'm in now.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm having issues logging in. I'm getting a connection error saying the server principal, Jay Orozco, is not able to access the database master under the current security context.
Yeah, so not the master database. Can you share your screen with me? I want to see why that one's popping up here.
Sure. So I don't think I'd be able to share my screen. just because I have like some audio screen recording permission things.
Were you able to share it?
No, I don't think I'm able to.
Oh, you should. You present at the bottom. Is there an option there?
No, I think you're seeing my.
Oh, there we go. All right.
No, I don't think I.
Somebody's. Yeah, I think your Slack just popped up. So real quick, while I'm going to help some people with connections, the next thing you're going to do is the US_zips table is already in there. So what we want to do is drop that, and I added the query to drop that table in the Slack chat. Then the next thing that I want you to do is if you go to, I don't know how to describe the 3 squares and 1 squares out of it. This is where you add extensions. So I want you to search extensions, SQL Server import right here. Click to install that extension. And then once you've done that, you can right click on your database. Like this would be Marcus here, and you can do the import wizard. You can browse and then go find wherever you stored that file. Name your table. You'll get a little preview, and then you can select different data types for it. So one thing I would do is, like, I think I was changing the zip code. It read it as like a small integer, and then I had some issues, so just read it as like a regular integer. Well, okay, so that'll keep you busy. We'll help them real quick. Okay, Jonathan, do you want to try presenting or sharing that screen again?
You know, for whatever reason, I'm not able to share my entire screen. I'm only able to share like my Google Chrome tabs.
Yeah, it's kind of a pain to screen share through StreamYard. Why don't you take a screenshot and drop it in the Slack, and I'll take a look.
Will do.
Sorry, we're supposed to be adding something to the US zips, or
So the first thing you're going to do is take the SQL query that I put into Slack. You're going to drop the table. So you're going to get rid of it. It's already there. And what you'll see, so if you go down here to tables, you're going to have dbo.us zips. Once you run the script to drop it, click the refresh, and then you should not see a table there. It should be gone. And then I'm going to show you how to use the import wizard to pull in a .csv file that is the US zips table. Alec, was that better, or am I still being clear as mud over here?
yeah, I don't know where you said the drop and.
So I'm putting that script into here where it shows search and all that, and it keeps popping up then the US zips even when I refresh.
It's still there when you refresh it? Okay.
And maybe I'm putting it in the wrong
Luke,
place.
did you try it? Did it
So-
work? Okay.
If you just open up a fresh query and copy paste that whole sentence of
Make
drop
sure
table,
that you're up here. Are you on the right database instead of the read only? You may need to select your appropriate database first.
Let me.
when you connected to your student database, it has its own little new query button in that
Yeah.
window. And if you use that and just copy paste that whole sentence of drop table if exists DBOS,
Okay.
and then just run that as a query,
Oh, okay, that works.
it should come back that it was successful in like a fraction of a second. And when you refresh that first tab of connecting to your database, it should disappear.
If I didn't make that read only, what he just did was deleted it for everybody. Because he would have ran that, and like, so as we work through exercises, the read only is going to be your reference if, because we're going to end up manipulating actual data in your database and tables, deleting and adding and copying and things like that. And so you always want to have your source of reference up here, and that won't be able to get changed by anybody. Jonathan?
I just direct messaged you some screenshots.
Are you still stuck?
I am, yeah.
How you doing, Jonathan?
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, but it's the Wi-Fi in here today is not great. You guys keep freezing up when I look
Yeah,
at you.
I'm still stuck. I sent you a few screenshots of what I'm seeing, trying to log in.
You wouldn't happen to have any particular extra protections on your computer, would you? I mean, if it's not letting you screen share, there might be some extra security on your computer or on your router that might be blocking that.
So
Not that
Jonathan, it's the database field where it says default. Type your username, and then at the end of that, a capital D and a capital B.
Oh, there
to
we go.
specify the database that you're trying to log into.
Yeah, it went through. So I'm connecting now.
Okay, and how about adding the extension?
Could you walk me through that? How to do that again?
Adding the extension?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. So we're going to go up here, search the extensions in the marketplace.
Can you share your screen?
Oh yeah.
On the left toolbar, if you click all the way down at the boxes, the little Lego bricks, and then search import, it should pull it up. And then you just install it. And that's as far as we've gone so far.
All right. All right, I have that installed.
Okay. What's that? Perfect. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to right click the server, go to import wizard, browse to wherever it is on your computer, click open, table schema, just put DBO is the standard. Click next. You're going to get a preview of the data. Click next again. And this is an important part. This is where you can set your data types. The import wizard is going to do its best to determine the data types, but sometimes it doesn't make sense. So let's say like zip code, I changed it to integer. You're going to want to do that. DeForest. Yep. Did you did you download the .csv file in Slack? Sometimes it doesn't make sense though. Like let's say if you had a identifier for customers and it's all numeric, it's going to read that as a number, which you don't really want, right? It's not a number; it's an ID really, or a unique key. You can change it to text. Yeah, save you some headaches later. I am not going to import this though because I already have one in there. But anybody online, were you able to get the file in there?
Working on it. I'm just trying to find where it downloaded to for me.
Do we only need to change the first data type to int and leave the rest the same?
From what I discovered when I was working with it, yeah, I just changed that one to integer. Everything seemed to work fine so far. What's that? Yeah. Until you see the data type screen. Sorry. Whoever has a screaming baby, would you mind muting? Thank you.
We need to select our own database that the table's creating. It's doing the ODSA rate.
What's that? So let's change the zip to integer. Just INT. There you go. Import data. Oh, you have to delete it out of your database first. So if you go into the Slack channel, see that drop table, copy that SQL query. It just thinks it's a link. Just not the link, the whole.
Hey, for anybody who's still past me, what did we name the new table and the table schema again?
And let's get out of
Were there any specific names?
Yeah, you're good. Let's do a new query there. So file new query.
The only thing I changed is when you're choosing the upload data types, is you
Okay.
change the
Okay,
very
I'm
first
back.
one to an integer, but
Oh,
everything
okay.
else is the same.
Is there a question?
Oh, I was just asking if there's a specific table name or schema we needed to do. It's taking me a little while to get the file downloaded. It's running a little slow on my end.
Yep, DBO is fine, and then just US_zips.
Perfect. And then where did we put the integer again?
For zip code, it identified it as a small
There we go.
integer.
Okay. And we just need to do integer in general.
Mhm.
Okay. Cool. All right. I'm all caught up then. It's importing. Thank you.
Oh, because you're in the read only. So you'll want to do it in yours. So you just need to right click on the, but you're gonna have to. Oh, it's already there. Let's look down here. You can pull that over too if you need to see it. Oh, like the window can get wider. Okay. Let's see if it's there. Can you drop the tables there? Oh, perfect. So right click that one. Right there. Import wizard. Oh, change it then. See if it'll.
Won't let me because now it's key.
And it's just circling. Oh, change that up there. It shouldn't be student read only. Server database. Yeah, it shouldn't be there.
Should just re-add it.
Okay, take a look on my end. No, so if you yeah, your connection. Let me see. That looks fine. Just copy that. Can you put something manually in there? What should pop up is that same server, and then it's like space parentheses should be L Armstrong. Let's see what pops up for yours. Yeah, that's yeah, like I right clicked yours and it popped right up. The server, the database is in. So it's how you're logged in. Maybe try disconnecting from the student read only one. Cool. Okay, so bit of a primer for what's coming next. So creating, deleting databases, creating, deleting tables, views, put some constraints on tables, deleting fields, adding fields, inserting data, updating it, deleting it. And then I showed you how to import from CSV files. And then I'm going to go over how you can import using SQL. And then don't forget, we're going to have a quiz next week. But no pressure, it's open book, right? Just what we learned between the two classes. Okay. All right, and then I have loaded the deck from today's course. And so what I would do for practice is in this read-only database, work with, start writing your own queries. So we've got, I've got world city, I've got world country, and I've got country languages. Let's see what we got. So like, for example, let's write a query of what's the average life expectancy in the United States. So what I would do personally is I would crack open ChatGPT. My table is world.country. Write me a SQL query for average life expectancy in the United States.
Can you share your screen if you don't mind?
Would you have to put the data in like columns?
You can. I'm just, it'll give me a placeholder column, and then I'll just manually change it.
Where can you see that?
Okay, let me. Okay, so this is what it came up with. And then you can so what that as statement is doing is just I'm renaming like I'm getting a new column, right? I'm going to name it something else. So 77.1. And we all regress towards the mean, so I guess I'm halfway there. More than halfway. But
How do we know what column titles, what the column titles are? We did the select button where you just select the column.
yeah, one way is to select the top 1,000. It's just a quick way to view what's going on. You can pull them from there. If you want to pull the data types in, you can write a script for that too, where it'll produce like this output. It'll list all the columns and what their data types are. Like when you imported that file, right? And you saw all those data types.
So, I'm just here. So we get data, CSV file, we import it. We can write a query to list all the columns. So what I did is not kind of I just fed it the top. So all of those
Yeah.
and then I asked it. And then when you write your equation to pass, it can put them on the
And then if you wanted, so here's a query if you wanted to have the data types next to it.
I'm more used to it, that's what I'm yesterday. Like, we get that table, maybe you can screenshot it, and drop it in. This is like all future service, so I'm not gonna just do it right at the time. I want to skip through. Yeah,
Okay, let's try a different one. So, and I want somebody in the class to write it and tell me the answer here. Let's pull monarchies that were established after 1900. And I'll give you a hint. INDEP year, independence year. And then government form is going to be your types of governments. Monarchies established after 1900.
I think I have an answer. Are there 5?
Looks like there's more than that. But you're not entirely wrong. So I threw you a little curveball.
I think I missed a step somewhere because my database claims that it just doesn't have any of the information, that all the names I'm putting in are invalid.
World.country. Oh,
Yeah.
you're not. So that's not in your database. You got to go to the read-only one.
Okay.
Yeah, we only have US zips in your specific database. Yep. Yeah, and you can toggle that right here, right? So if you go file new query, you can select what database that you want to have access to. Is yours? Are you connected to the other one? Is it green?
Yeah.
Let's see. Select the drop down. There you go. I don't know. I just clicked on that first. I don't know why it's not letting you. Oh, okay. I was like, sure, no problem. 35. A list of monarchies that were established after 1900. I have 30, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're incorrect. You have 30? Okay. Okay. Yep. So 30 is the answer to how many there are. You see that? So what I did is where independent year greater than 1900 and government foreign like, and then I did the quotes with the percentage symbol before and after monarchy. Yeah, so that's how you're going to pull in like the constitutional monarchy, the parentheses sultanate monarchy. So Patrick, what you looked for was it was specifically monarchy, which is 5. Sorry, Patrick, did you hear what I said? It froze.
Yeah, I heard.
Okay.
I also think I didn't have the percentage signs in the word monarchy.
Yep. Okay, how about who has the worst GNP? Or lowest, I should say.
Do we need to use GMP old and regular GMP for this?
Just use the regular GMP.
Okay.
There is a curveball.
Hey, James, I'm pretty lost, man. I wouldn't even know how to start to try to get that.
Question was, make a list of monarchies that were established after what?
Hey, can you hear me, James?
Yep.
I'm so lost, man. I don't even know how I would start. I'm like, I really don't know much about SQL, so.
Yeah, this one. Were you able to do the monarchy one?
No, I don't know how to do much like selecting and stuff, like literally from step one.
Okay, so let me see if I have. So your select, after your select statement, is where you're going to put your columns. So let me go share this guy. So I sent over the deck from this class, and this SQL cheat sheet that I'm sharing on my screen right now, if you can see it, this is going to be your best friend. So we're going to choose our columns. So for example, the monarchy data set, we're using, it was independent year and then the government form.
So I think I might have this is not
Okay,
30.
let me get this.
Nice.
You mentioned is lowest GNP, right? Is what we're trying to get.
Yeah,
So I got Antarctica at 0.
that's a curveball I threw at you.
Kind of figured.
Yep. So what you need to do is add something in there that is greater than 0.
Oh, gotcha.
I was about to say I have Afghanistan, Albania, Algeria, but for me, it's just displaying the name in every single field, just copying it for every column.
Okay. Sorry. Let me finish helping Alec real quick here. Alec, can you see my screen? Perfect. Okay. So we are selecting the name, which is the name of the country. We're going to select the independent year column. We're going to select the government form column. And, okay. Do this. So I'm selecting top 1,000. So here's our name column. We're going to choose this one. We're going to choose the government form column, and we are choosing the independent year column because that's all we want to look at, right? We don't want to see the whole table. We don't care about the whole table. So we're going to select our columns from world.country, and that's our data table. After that, we're going to start filtering the data. So what we're saying with the where statement is we're saying where the independence year is greater than 1900. So if I went sort ascending, it's going to start at 1901, 1905, etc. We have another condition. So, and government form, we're going to say like, because we've got multiple types of monarchies here. So when Patrick had an answer earlier, he said 5. Well, I mean, he's not wrong. There are 5 that are just called monarchy with one word. And so over here with like, and then the percentage before the word, percentage after the word is going to say anything with monarchy. So it's going to allow us to pick up constitutional monarchy, comma, federation or emirate or sultanate or parliamentary, etc. Is that helping?
Yeah, it's like I'm learning my ABCs, so it's like I feel bad that if I'm holding people back, but it's coming slowly.
Alec, did that help?
Yeah, it's like this is my first time with SQL, so everything is like literally I'm learning my ABCs, so
That's how it
I'm
feels,
just trying
man.
not to, yeah, I'm just trying not to hold back the class a little too much, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's all good. That's what we're here for. I mean, this is exactly what it's going to feel like.
Is the answer for the GMP one a tie between the Sao Tome and Principe and Tlovia?
That is correct. Did you write it like I did, or is yours different?
I think mine's simpler because I have a full list. I didn't have it just populate the 2.
Sorry, Patrick, it froze.
I just slacked you what mine have. Mine's a lot simpler. I just asked for the whole list and for the list to start with the smallest.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so there's a few ways you can do that. And that's not wrong. I mean, that's totally okay if you're trying to answer the question. What I did here is I'm selecting the smallest number that's not 0. And so that's why only 2 are coming back. You can ascend it like what you're doing. That's fine. I wouldn't set a limit on it because if you put like top 1, you wouldn't know that there's a tie between 2.
I actually tried top 50, just pulling it out of my brain, and it threw an error instead.
Yeah. It threw an error out there. Select top 50.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Is anybody else struggling, following along? It's okay. Raise your hand. I mean, I've been there.
Yeah, so for the first one, when I clicked run, it just says name, independent year, government form, but no information after that.
Name, government form. Do you want to share your screen? You should be able to.
Is it going? Is it there?
Yep. And it's just giving you 0 results.
Yep.
I'm seeing can you, the gray window that lists the server and databases, can you make that wider for me? Okay, let's I notice it's hanging up there, like that circle of death is going on. Why don't you try disconnecting from it and reconnecting to it? That's what I think's going on, Alec. Is it's somehow it's getting hung up. You also, if it's freezing like that, maybe try just closing Data Studio and reopening it. Cute kids, man.
Thanks. Whenever I feel like not studying or just like I don't want to do it no more, like I have that in the background to make me remember why I'm doing it. You know.
Nice. All right, so let's reconnect. So you just got to click on it on your server name there. I'm going to see if I can connect to your. Is anybody else having issues with the student read only one?
I've had to reconnect a few times.
I haven't had any issues yet.
Okay. Yeah, Alec, you might have to wait a little bit. I'm not sure. It's not throwing up any connection errors. It just seems like it might be, just having trouble. I don't know if there's really anything I can do on my end to fix that at the moment.
All right.
Try one more time for me. See if it's like still hung up. Is it asking you to like re-log in or anything?
Really re-log in, just connect. I haven't changed anything.
Okay. Yeah. Why don't yeah, just wait a little bit. And if this thing is if you're still having issues and it's not resolved like tonight, like hit me up in the morning or sometime tomorrow and let me know if for some reason it's not working.
All right. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, because I mean, when it's like not popping up a connection error like that, it may be something where if we're still having issues and it's not a intermittent problem, then I'll have to contact Azure.
All right. Hopefully I could just get it done. Maybe I have a Microsoft Windows Pro, a 6, like it's old. Maybe that's why. That'd be it.
Okay. Well, how about this? We can conclude the class. For those that got it, if you got it down, feel free to take off if you want. I'll stick around if anybody needs any additional help.
Awesome. Thanks, James.
Yeah, you bet. It's the internet in here. Like, I was watching my Wi-Fi bar and it kept dipping all over the place. Yeah. I'm gonna stop the stream in a second. I'm still here. I'm just gonna end the stream though.